Hey guys, RTT back here for that video, guys. Today, I want to give my review of the Galaxy Z Flip 5 after 3 months of using it. Not 5 months, 3 months of using it. And I'm going to tell you right now, this is actually not my daily driver. This is my secondary device. It used to be the Z Fold 5 as my secondary device, mainly because of the fact of, how premium, awesome it is, and beautiful outside display, beautiful inside display. Amazing phone. But over the last month, I'd say month and a half, this has been my daily driver. And the reason why is because of the small form factor. So, I don't mind mounting. You guys do not know this is my main daily driver, Google Pixel Fold. I don't mind mounting in my car my Google Pixel Fold. Takes a little bit of time just because of the size of it, and then if I'm going somewhere or going in and out of a place, I like to grab it, put it in my pocket, leave, and then come back. So I kind of have that, I had to mount it, get out of my car, unmount it, go somewhere, get back in my car, mount it again. It's a process, right? This phone is so freaking small that I just now mount this as my secondary device. I do have a SIM card in here, right? So it's 5G. I get 5G wherever I use this. Keep in mind, I could always just share my 5G on this. What's that thing called? The 5G sharing? No. Hotspot. That's what I'm trying to say. I could always share if I wanted to, right? But in the end, what I do is I just mount this in my car all day long. And that's kind of how when I'm at work, when I'm out, getting groceries, when I'm out doing stuff. I just keep this mounted in my car until I get back home, and then unmount it, take it in with me, and it's always on my body. I do like to have my phones always on me, just in case of emergency or anything like that. Which is why, again, I do always have this phone on me. But there are times where I'll actually just have this phone on me. Like, most 90% of the time, this phone is always on me. But 100% of the time, this phone's always on me. Just because it's so small and it gives you such an easy form factor to always have on you. Now, I will say when it's in my car, another thing I really like about this phone over a phone like this, and there's nothing wrong with a bigger display, but when it comes to a smaller display like this, I can have my music set up, plugged in, and mounted in my car. Again, it doesn't take up much space, not distracting at all while I'm driving, so it's a lot easier. I can have my maps on this outside display, I can have my music on this outside display, and it's just there. I can switch the songs, do whatever I want, and it's not like it's this gigantic tablet, which again, I love about these phones, but it's not like this gigantic tablet is just blocking, part of my ventilation system. That's another thing. Ventilation system. I do mount these on my vents, and it kind of blocks a lot of air. This does not, because obviously the small form factor, right? So again, like I said, these are just personal likes, personal loves about this phone, is the form factor and how amazing this outside display is. Now, I will say outside of that, battery life has been a beauty. Beauty. Now, of course, I've used the outside display a lot more over the last month than the inside display. But even when I do use the inside display, which I do if I'm going, if I'm in my bed, chilling, watching TV, scrolling through, Instagram or something, I will use this phone a little bit more than this phone. And maybe it's because this phone gives me more of a candy bar S cell phone vibe. And I will say that is something where if you are coming from a candy bar cell phone to a Z Flip 5, you're probably going to like this a tad bit more in that aspect. Because you get the thinness of this phone while having that candy bar cell phone where you can reach all over the screen with your thumb. So that is definitely a plus about this phone compared to, again, this phone. Nothing wrong with it, but you have the thickness while you're holding it. So if you're not used to foldable phones, you're coming over, for example, from an iPhone, you're going to kind of potentially have an issue there, right? Well, with this phone, you have that same form factor of it being very skinny, very thin, and you have that candy bar S cell phone, screen that you can just go up, down, whatever. So that's, again, like I said, another plus, and why I personally like using this phone when I'm doing basic tasks of basic task of just like zoning out, relaxing, not really paying attention to things, it's nice to have a Candy Bar S cell phone that also at any moment I can flip it, put it in my pocket, or put it anywhere, and it creates such a small footprint, it doesn't take up much space. I'm also a photographer. That's actually my main job, is of photography. This phone is such an amazing phone to have as a photographer, because I could put this in any bag, any place I go. I can literally, if I'm just going somewhere and I'm like, I can't have too much stuff in my pockets because I might have my lenses or my bag on me, this is the phone I'll bring. Because while this phone's amazing, it is heavy, it is large, and it takes up space. This takes up almost little to no space. It's not heavy. It's easy to slip in my bag. I don't have to worry about really, honestly, scratching this phone up, because especially with this case I have on it, it's plastic all around, covering every inch of this except for this display here. So what I usually do is put like a microfiber cloth if I'm putting it in my bag, for example. I'll put it on top of here, and I'll just go ahead and do that, cover it up, and I'll put it in my bag. No issue at all. That's kind of my mindset when it comes to, why I love this phone so much, is because there's so many uses for this phone with the size of it. And again, the whole kicker is always with this phone, oh, it flips. I'm going to eventually get over that. And to be honest, you will. I promise you that. The outside display, though, is why this phone's so amazing. It just gives you so much functionality for such a small area. And honestly, not that expensive of a price tag. But with Black Friday sales, you can get this as low as $700. And I think this phone gives you so much more productivity than a lot of other phones. Now, I can also mention the fact it does have a Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 processor, which is the latest and greatest processor from Samsung. It also does, of course, come with waterproofness, no dust resistance, keep that in mind. Does not have S Pen support on the inside display. So that's another negative. Does have wireless charging. Does have USB-C right here. And of course, other than that, the battery life is pretty amazing, like I said before. But I'm not personally using it as much as the next person would when it comes to the inside display. I use mainly the outside display. But still, like I said before, battery life, no problem at all, no issue at all. I haven't seen anyone complain about it, and I haven't had any issue when I am relaxing my bed. I watch YouTube on this, watch YouTube videos. I'll scroll through Instagram, through social media, and kind of just go through a whole bunch of stuff. I like to every night have like at least 1 to 2 hours of relaxation, where I kind of just go through this on this phone, and I go through everything, and that's pretty much that. So, again, like I said, no complaints from me after 3 months. I think this phone is very, very amazing. And I think it's really the foldable, flippable phone that anyone who's just getting into this market should be picking up. Because this is going to give you that aspect of, okay, this is, good. This is actually worth your money, right? When you get this, I think it's going to be worth your money, or the Z Fold 5, but you might question yourself and be like, that's a lot of money. Am I really getting the money's worth? $700 less than this for Black Friday sales. You can even trade in a phone to get it. This is worth your money. Thank you guys for watching.